Okay, guys, let's get right into the stock market technical analysis. I am back, going to put out videos, and we'll look at the chart. So, we're going to start off with triple Qs. Drop me a thumbs up, guys, if you're finding value in the content. I do appreciate it. It helps the channel. Please do that. Triple Qs, guys. So we have a short-term rally going on. On the daily chart, here's the triple Qs. Look at this. You've got support. There's one reaction. There's another. And I did drag the trend line down a little bit because previously we had these two data points, 1, 2, but we didn't have a third. We've now got a third there. All right, so we're getting a bounce off of that. And we have a validated or verified trend line at this point. So the next sell signal, larger term sell signal, will come on a break of this trend line right there. All right, until we break that, we're holding support and we are rallying. The other thing that we saw briefly is we saw an undercut of that right there, but they did close intraday. It was intraday undercut of that trend line, but then it closed by the end of the day right on support, and then today we're bouncing. So as expected, this is what it's looking like. I did tell the private member group I was looking for a short-term bounce, and I'm thinking there's probably a little more to go. Let's look at the hourly chart. So on the hourly chart, you'll see here, kind of zoom in, there's the recovery, the Friday recovery, and then today gapping up and just nothing but rallying today. So in general, looks like we are rallying. Now, maybe a potential resistance level right here where we're kind of at, because you can see we have a couple reactions. But I think we're probably going to continue to push higher up into about, the levels that I have is about 372.22 up to, roughly this 375.50 area is the next level of resistance. So that's where I think we'll probably push up to, rally up, and then start to, this is our resistance zone. This is our objective area to short at. There is a potential downtrend line right here. You can see there is some reactions here on the hourly chart. So we could push up into that zone. And that'd be the area where it makes sense and is objective to short. So that's what I'm kind of looking for right now, is a rally up there. And then we'll look for signs of a reversal. So that's what I have on that one. Okay, NASDAQ futures. This is the hourly chart on the futures. You can see obviously we're rallying today. Coming into, there's going to be probably a little resistance right here. Maybe some sellers showing up right about just a little bit overhead, 15,020. But you can see off the highs, most recent highs, there's a potential downtrend line very consistent with what shows on the triple Qs and something like that. And if I stretch that out, that could be a very objective area. If it wants to rally up into that, that'd be pretty decent resistance right up there. There's just a lot of resistance up there. You've got horizontal resistance here at about 15,492. You have this downtrend line, and then you also have this uptrend line. This is your rally. This is basically your bull market rally in the futures, and right up there, that meets up with that trend line there too. So big resistance right in that zone. That would be a very objective area to establish a short if it's going to rally up there. Of course, nobody knows exactly how far this rally can go. If it's very bearish, then the sellers are going to step in right about where we're at, 1520, and that will be the end of this rally, and they'll continue to push this thing down. But it was pretty oversold on Friday. I talked about that. Sent out a group saying, hey, guys, I think there's more downside. It's definitely sell the rip, okay? But in order to sell the rip, you do have to have rips. So downtrends, there are up days on downtrends, and we look to short into those resistance levels. So again, looking for maybe a continued rally up here and then short into that resistance level on the futures. Okay, natural gas. So natural gas, this is the futures pushing down into support. Not quite there. Could go a little lower to hit that support level. But you can see we've got several reactions on this trend line right down here. 1, 2, there's another. So we could come down and hit it again. That's support. That's where the buyers will likely be at. The other thing is, bigger picture on the daily chart, you've got a big bullish divergence. So the momentum has been rising, and price right through here. These are all divergent lows. So looks like a bottoming pattern, looks like it's basing out, and this thing really could take off to the upside. We need a breakout. Now, we did get a short-term breakout above this former level of resistance at about 288. However, intraday, you can see right here, we hit that, and also we just hit it there. So what I'm going to do is move that line up to right there, and that's our next level. That's our new level of resistance because we have another reaction. So about $3 is major resistance. We start to break out above that. There is the 200-day. You probably have a little pullback there, just an initial reaction on the 200. But ultimately, I think you can rally. Once you get above 3, you probably hit the 200, get a little pullback, and then ultimately start to really break out. So just a setup, at this point, just a trade setup. We'll continue to watch that. The other thing to watch is the commodities. DJP is an aggregate commodity index. And again, bigger picture, I try to give you guys the big picture so that the little intraday ups and downs on a day-to-day basis, you really need to take those within context of the bigger picture. Bigger picture is we've got a big bull rally that started back during COVID. We have a corrective pattern that lasted a year and a half or so. This is a big bullish falling wedge. We have a breakout and a backtest and what looks to be an uptrend. All right, there on the daily uptrend reaction. We've got 3 reactions. So to me, looks like we've started that next leg higher in the bull market, an ongoing bull market in commodities. So if that's the case, if that plays out to be true, then you will see, you're going to see things like nat gas and wheat, rally. Those are commodities. They should get pulled up along with oil. Okay, looking at wheat here. This is the wheat ETN. Again, we have a big bullish falling wedge pattern. All right, that's the bigger picture. There it is. We had a breakout, back test, continuation, another back test. So that's it. It's another back test. It was objective to buy wheat on Wednesday or on Thursday because you were right there at support, big support. And if you did that, you can see the next day wheat was up. Let's say you bought it right on the trend line, you'd be up about 3.5% or so from there. Now a little pullback today, but again, we did hit support. So I'm thinking wheat rallies from here. And we're at support. We could continue to backtest. That's the other option, is maybe backtest a little bit more, kind of like right here. We backtested quite a bit right there. So maybe we do that again, maybe not. But in general, the downside should be limited. You've got good support right there. So that's about it on wheat. Okay, what else do I got? GE. This is just a trade idea, really an actionable trade idea. You've got big negative divergence on the daily. This thing built for a long time, really started to diverge. The first divergence was really right in here, but back in February of 23, so many months, almost half a year, we've been diverging higher and higher and higher. And then you've got a support line, this bearish rising wedge. There's support. All right, held that support again through here and started to break here, but they recovered it. That's a definitive sell signal, especially right there. That day on Wednesday, GE was down about 2.5%, pretty impulsive selling. That's a definitive sell signal. Now, you did fill this gap, so you're bouncing off this first gap. But again, it's sell the rip in this thing because it has broken that bullish uptrend and that bullish pattern. So the measured target on this one, it's not a huge wedge. I'd say the widest part of the wedge is right about there. And that puts us somewhere down in this area, probably the 200-day moving average. This is the 200-day simple moving average. So maybe somewhere down in here at about $93. Okay, that's the major target for that one. That would still be a drop of about 14-15%. Could get, could be more, but all right, so that's sell the rip. So it's rallying today. I took a little bit. I didn't see this until just this morning, so took a little bit of a position here. It wants to go a little higher or even do a back test. Maybe it wants to run up and do a back test right up here. That's a very objective area to add to a short. So starter position here, I'll add here and not above. I'm not going to add anything above. If it continues to rally, I'll look to stop out. Otherwise, I'll probably look to add on weakness. All right, because if you're shorting, I want to add to short trades when they're working. All right, not when they're not working, and I want to add to long trades when they're working. All right, you don't want to dollar cost average down. you really want a dollar cost average up. That's more because that means you're adding more money to a working trade, not to a losing trade. So that's it on GE. I like that one. Home builders. All right, the ones that I like most right now is actually Pulte, PHM. But here's DHI, all right? DHI, we were watching this one for quite a while. Again, you have a bearish rising wedge. You've got negative divergence that built for a while, and you've got a big old sell signal right there. All right, it even the day before was a sell signal, but definitive sell signal right there. That was a day down 5%. That's impulsive selling. So little flag action here, maybe at back test, maybe not, but ultimately you should continue lower. Minimum target, there's support right down here at 103-ish, right in there. There's a gap to fill, the 200-day. That's the minimum target, and I think you go a lot lower, but you probably get a bounce right there at that 200-day. So that's that one. And then PHM, this one just started to break down. You've got this nice uptrend line. Same thing, big negative divergence on the daily, and you've got a sell signal right there. So kind of flagging out, but ultimately should continue lower. And again, minimum target would probably be the 200-day moving average. I do think you probably hit that. Or somewhere down around this 65-ish. You got some support right in there. So I'd probably look for a bounce there. Okay, DraftKings. So DraftKings, again, big bearish rising wedge pattern on the daily chart. You can see it right there. All right, overshot it a little bit here, and we were watching this because this overshoot of the wedge. So when you trade to the upside of a bearish wedge, it's kind of an overshoot. But that had negative divergence. So there was a very high likelihood that this overshoot was going to be a bull trap, false breakout. And sure enough, you can see here, big gap down, boom, breaking the wedge and trapping all these late to the party longs that didn't see the technicals, and then ultimately heading lower. So this is sell the rip. We're rallying up. I've got resistance on the hourly. If I zoom in, you can see there's some resistance right here. All right there, there's a little reaction. So it's about 27.73. I think that's an objective level to short or add to a short. I pulled a lot of my shorts on this rally. I'm looking to add those back because again, at the end of the day, if you're going to trade it, you want to cover as you drop down to new lows into support and then short into resistance. And especially when you're in a bear trend, which it looks like we've just started one. So there's resistance. We could rally higher. Obviously, it could do a full back test. If I go back to the daily, yes, you could rally up and do a full back test. All right, so I'd be prepared for that. If you see it, if you're going to short here at 27.78, be prepared that it could rally up and do a full back test of the trend line around 31. I'm not leaning that way, but because that's a 14-15% gain. The other thing is this is an island cluster top reversal. See this? On the daily, gap up. All right, you gap up right here, and then you gap down right there, and you create the island cluster top. So the way you trade that is you can short on the gap down, and you just, you look to probably cover anything really above. I wouldn't really want to see it trading much above this 32.70 area. Probably look to cover. So that's where my stop would be sitting at. But ultimately, I think we could continue lower because we have this island cluster top in play, and those are big long-term trend reversal patterns. So to me, it tells me that this was a big trend up, and we've just started the next trend down, which will likely take out the lows. Okay, so that's what I have on that one. Okay, Nvidia having a big day today. So I think earnings are going to miss. Here's what I've got on Nvidia. All right, Nvidia, we have a trend line to watch. It's basically right here. You can see tags of support, and then they were resistance, and then when it gapped above that trend line, and this happened on the earnings AI pump, it was support. Finally, it broke down, and it looks like they're ramping it back up to do another back test. They're doing that. They're ramping it up for a back test, and I believe you're probably going to take out the highs and put in a new divergent high. So here's the highs right here, the former highs. It's up there around 481. I think you're probably going to take out and make a slightly new high, rally into resistance, and probably going to do that tomorrow. and then earnings comes out the following day. To see a big ramp like this right ahead of earnings, yeah, usually pretty suspect. So if it's going to rally into resistance right ahead of earnings, I might take a starter short position just ahead of earnings, because obviously this could go either way, and it's volatile. So nothing too large ahead of earnings, but if I'm right on the technicals and it rallies into resistance, then earnings will likely miss, and then we'll start to head lower on probably a good sized gap down. The negative divergence on this on the daily chart tells me that that's the most likely scenario. So there's your negative divergence. So again, we make a new divergent high, I'll be looking to short into that. Okay, starter short if anything. And gold. I know there's lots of people interested in gold right now. Here's gold futures sitting at support. Okay, you can see there's some support right here, and we're at the 200-day. So in general, sitting at support. I don't see confirmed divergence right now on gold. So it's not a super clean chart. I need a little more information on this one to get a good read on it. If I go to GDX, here's the gold miners. I don't have divergence. We're making a new low right here, but it's not really a divergent low. So just not enough information to tell me that we're at a reversal point. We could go lower. So that's really what I have on that. I just don't see enough to tell me. Here's Newmont Mining, one of the largest miners, making a new low from the former low right there. It is a divergent low. It's not confirmed, so I'm looking for confirmation. Here's the PPO. I want to see the PPO start to turn up and confirm. Okay, if I get that confirmation on the PPO and I have a divergence, then I can watch this little small bullish falling wedge for a breakout and a buy signal, or ultimately the best buy signal would become on a recovery of about $40. That's your former low. You recover that, then this is a false breakdown. Okay, but there's just not enough there in the chart to tell me that that's the highest probability right now. So just going to sit on my hands on this one, not do anything. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll let you know if I see, the charts starting to shape up. Okay, that's all I really have, guys. If you're interested in learning this as a skill set, check out my stock market technical analysis course. Link in the description below. At the same time, I have a private member group that I put out individual and more enhanced trade ideas just for the private member group. It's $3 a month, I believe, or $5 a month, basically. So check that out if you're interested. Link in the description on that one, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye.